and we'll start our meeting at 6 p.m. We will start with the invocation, followed by the pledge of allegiance.
Recording in progress.
Almighty God, as we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask you for your guidance and wisdom. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Marissa Jimenez is here. Jake Lambert is here. Councilperson Francis Flores is here. And Mr. Felix Cantu is also here. And I myself, Brian Morales Cantu, Mayor of the City of Floresville. We will, at this time, if there's any public comments or anything from the agenda that anyone wants to discuss. At this time, any person wishing to address the council regarding any item on the agenda may do so. Speakers are requested to state their name and address for the record. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes per individual. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the City Council may not deliberate or take action on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. However, the council may direct staff to place the item on a future agenda for discussion or action if it's appropriate. At this time, we will ask for comments from from anyone out there.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Jillian Bliss. I actually live in New Braunfels. I can give you my district if you'd like it, or my address. Thank you so much. Thank you all for having me tonight. I'm here on behalf of the congressional campaign of Carlos de la Cruz. As I'm sure you're all aware, Carlos is in the Republican primary runoff that will be held this May. And I just wanted to come and introduce myself as I'm so grateful for what he's been doing. Carlos is a 20-year United States Air Force veteran. He is a small business owner and someone who truly understands what it means to serve his community. Throughout his career, Carlos has put public service first, whether that means serving overseas or serving his community here at home, just like y'all do here. And I thank you so much for being here tonight and doing that for us as well. Because of that leadership, Carlos has been endorsed by the Border Patrol Council, by President Trump, and by members of the community who are leaders locally, statewide, and federally. And cities like Floresville, though truly he believes these cities, these small communities within our district, are the backbone of Congressional District 35. And he believes that Washington needs leaders who are willing to speak up for districts like ours. So as we approach this runoff, we would respectfully ask for your support and for your consideration of Carlos and his platform, as it would mean a great deal to our campaign and would send a message that Wilson County is ready for strong leadership in Washington, D.C. Like I said, Carlos served his community in uniform for 20 years, and now he looks forward to serving you. I don't have any cards on me, but I'm happy to reach out, personally to each of you via email or otherwise. If you want, I can share my number. It's 214-949-6651. That's my cell phone. You're welcome to call me or text me there if you have any other thoughts or questions. But I really appreciate your time tonight and all you do for Floresville.
Thank you. Do I have any more citizens' comments?
Mayor, I do have a few comments, if you're all ready. So starting with, I walked in and I noticed there was a significant change to our lobby area, and while I understand updates to City Hall can increase efficiency and sometimes are needed, I noticed the mayor's pictures are no longer on the wall, and in my opinion, taking the pictures out of sight kind of downplays our history. I'm also thinking about how this lands with the previous mayors and our city mayor and their families. So if we can, I would like to consider bringing back some sort of public spot, maybe creating a wall of service visitors can see. I think it's very important that we maintain our history from our city as much as possible. So if that's possible, Mr. Munoz, so we can discuss that further.
Sure.
I have another comment about, let me make sure I get to my notes. For the next meeting, I will need an update, maybe a presentation item. Last week, I attended TML Mid-Year Conference. This next week, I will be in DC for the National League of Cities Conference, where I have visits at the Capitol Hill next week. And so I would like to come back and update council and our constituents as well at the next meeting. There's also another announcement of, if council, if you have checked your email, you should have received email from our regional director, Councilman Ed Sinnix of Live Oak. He has sent out invitations to our regional meeting, which will be held here in the city of Floresville on August 17th. I think it will be great representation if everyone can make it out, including staff as well. And there is also a call for our regional officers. If anyone's interested, this is a great opportunity to get involved and serve within your region and help shape the voice of our region, which could end up in our next legislative summit. And speaking of legislative summit, I am seeking any volunteers who are interested in being part of TML's summative conference, which will happen in August. It's a 2-day conference. So anyone wishing to participate, what it looks like is elected officials and employees from across the state coming together and deciding the legislative priorities for TML. So, and sometimes it's a great way to actually get your foot in the door with wanting to advocate more for your city. So if anyone's interested, just shoot me an email and I'll go ahead and send your name to the nominating committee. And also, one more, Mr. Munoz, for the next meeting, I would like an update on the Resilient Communities Grant that was approved in October, please. Thank you. I leave you the floor, Mayor.
Thank you. Jake? Anything on the time?
Yes, I've got a couple of comments. First, I would like to thank all of the women that work here in the city of Floresville. It is National Women's Month. Y'all do an amazing job of helping to make our city go round. I'd like to especially thank our Mayor Pro Tem, our Mayor, and then our Council Place 4, Ms. Frances Flores. So thank y'all so much for everything y'all do and y'all continue to do and keep up the great work. Another comment that I want to make is, it was brought to light to me from a couple of citizens about the situation going on at the city park, specifically the softball fields. I would like to make sure, there was a citizen, his daughter fell in a hole and was hurt, and that is a liability for the city in itself. So I'd like to make sure that we're continually monitoring everything going on out at the city park to avoid these future problems. And to the citizen's daughter who got hurt in the situation, I hope you're healing well, and we look forward to having you back out at our softball fields there at the city park. The Mayor, I give you the floor.
Thank you. Ms. Francis?
I don't have any comments, Mayor.
Felix? No comments? Okay, I do. I just want to say that I am so grateful to everyone who came out to celebrate Floresville Day on Friday, March the 6th. That was last Friday. And I want to thank them for sharing the many resources that are available in our community. And I want to thank our staff who went above and beyond to make this event such a success. It was also great welcoming our new city manager, Andrew Munoz, and introducing him to our wonderful town and our community. That's all I have to say. Moving on to city manager's comments.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. Just quickly, we are planning to do our budget schedule. Right now, we have some tentative dates for our budget schedule for the upcoming budget season. Right now, we are tentatively putting a joint workshop between the council and FEDC for March 21st. It'll be about 3 to 4 hours. And then for the Ford Corporation on March 28th, and then having a workshop between the council and staff to begin developing our capital improvement projects program. That's scheduled tentatively for April the 11th. Times will still need to be figured out. I know we have some conflicts in the schedule. We're going to try to accommodate those as best we can. But to give you an idea of what we're doing for the budget in preparation for that, and then at that time, we'll release a full schedule with public hearings, meetings, your interactions with staff on the upcoming budget, as well as other agencies that may be interested in approaching for funding for the upcoming budget. The C Street updates, we did meet with the design team, we met with Phelps, we met with a couple of other agencies that are involved in the project. We looked at the design, we did have some concern in terms of staff and the procurement document. We did document those and we provided those to the development team. We looked at the design, and the design calls for about 15 feet for pedestrian walkways in the future. So what we asked the design team to do was, on the south side of C Street, we can't relocate those poles because of the cost, and we can't add sidewalks. So the proposed plan is to put sidewalks on the north side of the street. But we also have called on the street itself about 15 feet of walkable shared pathway. So we wanted to see if and what it would take, and if there's a bid alternate cost of what it would take for us to put that pathway on the south end of the street and put a protective barrier for bikes, pedestrians, joggers to do that. They did give us a preliminary cost estimate of about $47,000. It would delay the procurement about 7 weeks. I think we can do something else in the future in order to get this project up and moving. We're just waiting for an updated program spec sheet from the design team. We did give a date of today, a deadline of today to Frontier to remove their communication lines. They do have a team standing by when Phelps relocates those poles. We're still waiting for their schedule. It should be in the next couple of weeks. Once that starts, those will be out of the way for the construction of the sidewalk, the demolition, the reconstruction of the curbs, and then we can start that project. So hopefully we'll see something in the next 30 days moving on that project. Thank you.
Mayor, can we ask questions of the city manager at this time? On this item?
Sure.
Thank you for the floor. Mr. Munoz, I did have a question. Can you remind me of how the project was originally approved? Does it delegate authority to staff to make change requests, or does it have to come back to council?
All change requests and change orders typically come back to council for approval.
So this update you were talking about with the sidewalks, that would be a change request?
If we approved it or we wanted to proceed with that, a staff recommendation as a bid alternate, that would come back to you for approval.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's also going to be a change in scope and budget as well?
Correct.
And so we would anticipate an amendment to that?
If we decided to go that way, yes, but right now, based on the budget, what we know we have budgeted, it's not gonna be feasible for us to propose those changes, so we're just waiting for the corrective information on the bid spec sheet that we found that were errors, and we're just waiting for that to come in, and we're ready to place that out for bid. But we'll come back to you for authorization to solicit for pricing.
Also, I wanted to go back to your update that you mentioned. You touched on this a little bit about the deadline for Frontier Communications. In your update, you had said that you had given them the deadline of today. And if that wasn't going to, if they weren't going to meet that deadline, then we were going to cut and remove lines from Frontier?
We can do that because we are the owners of the right-of-way. We've given them more than substantial time to do that. So the contractor or Phelps, we can authorize them to go ahead and remove services for that in order to expedite and continue with the construction of that, of the project. And they have crews standing by to already assist in doing that. They don't have a crew assigned for about another 6 months to be able to put that as a ticket item to have those removed prior. If we do that, then we're delayed another 6 months on this project.
What does that communication look like with Frontier customers that would experience a cutoff in communication?
We've advised that, and when we actually do make that move, we would post it on our social media access as well as our other outlets to let them know that there may be a disruption in services. It is also incumbent on Frontier to notify their customers as well as a potential outage.
And then my next question would be to legal. Can we verify that that's something that is permissible and advised under the current contract?
Yes, Mr. Munoz and I'm not aware of this circumstance, but I would be happy to look at it
Thank you.
and provide feedback.
Thank you. That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Munoz, for everything you're doing. And, moving on, right now, we're gonna change our schedule because one of our council persons has to leave. So we're gonna go into the executive session real quick. So, if I have a motion to proceed into executive session. And this will be, the city council will meet in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.07 for personal matters. Discussion regarding the goals, objectives, and evaluations of the city manager as authorized by Section 551.07 for the Texas Government Code. And B, the city council will meet in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.087, deliberating about economic development negotiations, and that's Broken Arrow Post project, and also, C, action following executive session. Do you have a motion to,
Here, I'll make a motion for council to meet in closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.074, personnel matters, and also pursuant to Section 551.087, deliberating about economic development negotiations, the Broken Arrow project, and C, action following executive session. I'm sorry.
do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, we will go into executive session at 6:18.
See y'all later.
Sorry everyone for keeping y'all waiting, but do I have a motion to return from executive session?
I'll make a motion to return from executive session at 7:11 PM.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Ms. Marissa, second by Ms. Flores, all in favor? Motion passes 4-4 and, 3-4 and 0 against. Moving on to, item,
Mayor, was there any action taken?
no action was taken, sorry. Okay, consideration and action, agenda, we're gonna do consideration and action to approve meeting minutes for the regular council meeting on February the 12th, 2026. Do I have a motion to pass this? Or to approve this?
Mayor, can I make a motion to table this? There's a question that I have on the minutes,
Okay.
or correction. Postpone it, I'm sorry. Make a motion to postpone it
For next,
meeting, which is thank you, March 26th.
motion made by Ms. Flores, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? 3-4-0 against. Moving on to item 5, presentation and discussion. At this time, good evening. It is truly an honor to recognize an outstanding young lady in our community, Madison Arden. In her 8th grade year at Floresville Middle School, Madison saw a need and decided to take action. She created Maddie's Winter Coat Drive with a simple but powerful goal to ensure that no student in our community would go without a warm coat during the winter months. What started with one drop-off location at Wilson County News and her own front porch has grown into 5 community locations. This past year, she delivered more than 400 coats and winter items to the Floresville Independent School District Community Closet, helping students in need at no cost to their families. Madison, your leadership and compassion makes our community proud. You are proof that you are never too young to make a difference. I want everybody to please join us in congratulating her. Madison. You want to come up here to the... Anyone of President? Do you have anything to say? That's okay. Let's take a picture. Okay. Yeah, one, come and join us. And it says, for her leadership and dedication in creating medicine, providing over 400 coats and winter items to local students and families.
One more photo.
Moving on to 5B, review and discussion, our finance director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight for your review and possible discussion are amendments to our financial policies. They are intended to strengthen the city's current financial policies, improve transparency, and promote fiscal responsibility. The policies included for your review this evening are cash handling policy, credit card use policy, time clock policy, the city donation policy, petty cash policy, and a tuition reimbursement policy for new non-union employees. These policies have been drafted to establish clear procedures, strengthen internal controls, and support responsible management of city resources. Page 2 of each of the policies is a page for council feedback and comments. If you could please have those back to me by the 27th, so I can compile if there needs to be any updates, and I can discuss with you as well if you'd like to call or come visit me.
Thank you, Cindy. I read them and I like the way you did it, so thank you so much. And I already asked my questions, so I'll let them know.
What day was that again?
March 27th. Thank you, Cindy. My first question would be, because of course I do have questions and recommendations per usual. But my next question would be, after you receive this from us, then are you gonna take this and then get with legal on it?
Correct.
And then bring it to us? When would I expect to see this?
If I have it by the 27th, I'd say give me a week to compile everybody's comments and
By the April.
And then I would say by the end of April, it would come back to you all, second meeting of April.
Okay, great, thank you.
Moving on. New business. Consideration and action to approve proclamation 2026-011 International Women's Day. Ms. Flores?
Proclamation 2026-011, International Women's Day. Whereas International Women's Day is celebrated annually on March 8th to recognize the achievement, resilience, and contributions of women throughout history and across all cultures. And whereas women have played a vital role in shaping families, communities, governments, businesses, and institutions, making lasting contributions to economic growth, social progress, and civic leadership. And whereas women continue to break barriers and serve as leaders, innovators, caregivers, educators, and public servants who inspire future generations. And whereas the city of Floresville recognizes the importance of empowering women and girls, promoting equality, and celebrating the diverse accomplishments of women within our community and beyond. And whereas International Women's Day provides an opportunity to honor the women who have paved the way for progress and to encourage continued advancement toward a future where every woman and girl has the opportunity to succeed.
Now therefore, I, Gloria Morales, Cantu, Mayor of the City of Floresville, Texas, do hereby proclaim March 8, 2026 as International Women's Day in the City of Floresville and encourage all residents to recognize and celebrate the achievements and contributions to women in our community, In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Floresville, Texas, to be affixed this 12th day of March, 2026. Do I have a motion?
Ms. Mayor, I make a motion to approve proclamation 2026-011 International Women's Day.
Motion made by Mr. Felix Cantu.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Marissa Jimenez. All in favor? Motion passes 3-4, 0 against. Moving on to item B, consideration and take possible action to approve proclamation 2026-012 Red Cross Month.
American Red Cross Month 2026, a proclamation 2026-012. In March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in Floresville. Every day, their act of kindness change lives, bringing relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. The compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. Today, those who serve with the San Antonio chapter of the American Red Cross light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disasters, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions like cancer treatments, childbirth complications, and traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that saves lives. These collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of the community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let's celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone.
Now therefore, I, Gloria Morales Cantu, of Floresville, by virtue of this authority vested in me by the laws of Floresville, Texas, do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month. I encourage all citizens of Floresville to reach out and support its humanitarian mission. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on this 12th day of March in the year of our Lord, 2026, and of Floresville of Texas. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve proclamation 2026-012.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Jimenez, second by Councilman Cantu. All in favor? 3-4-0 against. Moving on to item C, consideration and take possible action to reject the request of proposal for the event center audio system update and authorize the city manager to execute all related documents.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. When we were out for proposals with this, we found that we did not appropriately post the addendums that were required, and so information was not released to all of the vendors prior to the expiration of this solicitation. So what we're requesting is that we reject the bids and allow us to rebid. But we also need to work on the scope of work. I know as I have visited the event center, we do have an echo feedback within the main hall. So what we would like to do is include a sound engineer to come out and give us recommendations on how to control the echo, as well as give us recommendations on the sound system that would be appropriate for that to minimize the echo. So at this time, we request that we reject the bids as presented.
All right, do I have a motion for this?
Mayor, I'll make a motion for consideration and action to reject the request for proposal for the event center audio system update and authorize the city manager to execute all related documents.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion to reject made by Ms. Councilwoman Flores, second by Councilman Cantu. All in favor? 3-4-0 against, motion passes. D, consideration and take possible action to reject the request of proposal for the infield renovations and outfield seating and authorize the city manager to execute all related documents.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Again, this was an issue that happened to us where we did not appropriately close the addendums that were required prior to the deadline and expiration of this solicitation. It could affect the pricing, so at this point, what we would like to do is reject the bids as presented, and staff reapproach the council for approval to advertise at a future meeting.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to reject the request for proposal for infield renovation and outfield seating.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Jimenez, second by Ms. Flores. All in favor? Motion passes. 3-4-0 against. Item E, consideration and take possible action to appoint audit review committee for fiscal year 2024-2025 as per city charter section 9.27. Finance director.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The finance director?
Oh,
Or do you want to-
I'll go ahead and take this one.
Go ahead.
Mayor, members of the council, as required by section 9.27 of the city charter, the council shall designate no fewer than 3 of its members to serve as an audit committee. However, there is a conflict within the charter at 11.01, council members serving on committees. It says council members are prohibited from appointing themselves to any committee or board, even if permitted under state law. So since there is a conflict and we still want to stay compliant with the charter, what I would like, if legal is okay with this, is that each member of the council appoint 1 member of the community, and we then present to that audit committee, and then we come back at a later date when the audit is finalized and prepared, and we do the final reading of that audit report to you, and you file and accept at that point.
That would be the entire of the council, which would
Correct.
include me as well. Okay.
I don't know if the attorney is.
Yeah, so this is odd, right, that you have, the most recent section of the charter says that you shall not appoint any, yourselves, basically, to any committee, but you have a specific section in the charter that says you're gonna appoint at least 3 of yourselves to that committee. I'm not opposed to the proposal that's on the table. I mean, the audit's basically gonna come back to you ultimately anyway, right? This is just gonna be a recommending committee anyway,
Correct.
so.
So do I have a motion?
I have a question. So, Mr. Munoz, I just want to know, I would like maybe a more detailed or planned out before I make a recommendation of anyone to serve on this committee, just so that they know what's expected of them. So if we have like a plan in place that I could share, you know, before before I appoint anyone anyway.
Sure.
Okay.
So do you want to pass it?
At this point, based on your recommendation, I would say we take no action on this item.
Mayor, Mr. Munoz, you would still need to comply with 103 and Senate Bill 1851, so that audit report will need to be in by the 27th of this month.
We're working with the auditors to meet that. We understand, and I was discussing earlier with legal on that. According to our auditors, there are legal suits that are pending that are being filed. And there is questions as to, does that apply to this year or to the next fiscal year?
Correct, but I don't want to take any chances, and
Sure.
it's recommended that we submit and it come back to council afterwards to
Sure.
ensure that we meet the deadline, because the AG
Yes.
can come after us if we don't meet that.
Yeah, the auditor is aware, and we're making every effort to make that deadline annually.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll just.
Mayor, can you check with Councilwoman Francis if she would like to postpone this item, or what is your preference based off of your comment?
I would like to postpone it for the next meeting. Is that going to be ample time? Does that have anything to do with your deadline?
The deadline's the 27th, which is Friday. It's a Friday, the day after our meeting. It can be submitted by the city before it comes to council,
Okay.
and it can come back and then we can go ahead with it.
Yeah, if we can just postpone it to the next council meeting with the submitted recommendations.
Mayor, I would like some clarification. So does that mean that you are going to be ready to appoint at the next meeting, or do you want him to bring the clarifications at the next meeting?
I mean, preferably, I would like for the clarifications at the next meeting.
And then we would appoint at the April meeting.
Right.
Got it.
Is that okay? I'll meet with that.
We're fine with whatever direction you choose.
All right. So that's.
So, Mayor, I'll make a motion for, I guess, clarification or recommendations based on what we talked about, a plan, what the expectations are, and preferably a timeline. For the audit review committee for fiscal year 2024-2025. Got to read the whole thing.
I'm sorry, Councilwoman, can we ask legal if we need to amend this one or to include what you are saying?
City attorney, sorry. Can you give us a recommendation? Do I need to amend this motion or?
Was I understood it, you were making a motion for, to clarify and establish a timeline in connection with the audit review committee, and is that correct?
Yes.
I think that's an acceptable, motion with the item that's been put on the agenda.
Okay.
And now, that's a motion.
Mhm.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
All in favor? 3-4, 0 against. Motion passes. Item F, discussion and possible action to award a contract to Murphy Construction Company for the lift station and force main improvements at 665 Blue Bonnet, Floresville, Texas, in an amount not to exceed $257,914. Okay, Cindy?
Yes. Good evening. So on January 21st, we opened bids for the Blue Bonnet lift station. We did have 6 bids. They did, the one that they are recommending is for $257,000. It is well below our CIP budget. In your packet, you do have the recommendation from 6S Engineering. They did check references that the vendor that won the bid. They also, in your packet, I don't know if the bid tabulation is in there as well. It is, yes. Thank you. Do you have any questions? This does coincide with the grant that we have for the sewer lines to the lift station, for the annexation.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I have a question before we make a motion.
Discussion? Yes.
Cindy, you mentioned that they checked references. How many references doesn't say in this letter or on the tabulation? Just out of curiosity.
Each had 3 references.
Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to award a contract to Mercer Construction Company for the lift station and force main improvements at 665 Blue Bonnet, Floresville, Texas, in the amount not to exceed $257,914.
Motion made by Councilwoman Flores, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilperson Marissa. All in favor? Motion passes 3-4, 0 next. G, consideration and take possible action to approve resolution 2026-012 of the City Council of the City of Floresville authorizing participation in the Texas Multiple Award Schedule Purchasing Program and authorizing the city manager to execute all related documents. Finance Director.
Yes, so TexMass, it's a procurement program through the Comptroller's statewide procurement division. It's government contracting tool that helps streamline how state and local governments, entities buy goods and services. I don't know if you have any questions about the program.
Motion?
Yes, make a motion, Mayor, to take, possible action to approve resolution 2026-012 of the City Council of the City of Georgia authorizing participation in the Texas Municipal Work Schedule Purchasing Program and authorizing the city manager to execute all related documents.
Motion made by Councilperson Felix Campos, now the second.
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Marissa Jimenez, all in favor? 3-4, 0 against. H, consideration and take possible action to approve resolution by the City of Floresville, Texas, suspending the April 18, 2026 effective date of the proposal by CenterPoint Energy Resources, CenterPoint Energy Intex, and CenterPoint Emergence Energy, Texas Gas Houston, Texas Coast, South Texas, and Vermont East Texas, geographic rate areas to implement interim rate adjustments to gas, utilities, investments in 2025, and requiring delivery of this resolution to the company and legal counsel. Finance Director.
Okay, so we received notification from CenterPoint that they will be increasing their rates. They did give us a resolution that if passed, it would suspend those rates from increasing 45 days. So my recommendation is to pass this resolution to give an additional 45 days before rates would go up to the customers. Currently, they're saying that rates for residential customers are going to go up $2.47 per month. And then, so they'd be looking at a bill from $22.36 to $24.83 per month. And then for general small service, it would go up $4.18 a month. If this is not passed, then they would be effective April 18th.
Mayor, I have a question. Go ahead. Just out of curiosity, Cindy, what are the rate increases for our surrounding areas?
For CenterPoint, I would know for surrounding areas. Yes. I'm, yeah,
Okay.
Go ahead.
I work for CenterPoint, they're the same across all the cities that we operate in.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
thank you.
All in favor?
I'm sorry.
I need a motion for this.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-013.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? 3-4-0 yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Consideration and take possible action authorizing the insurance of requests for statements of qualifications for qualified law firms or attorneys to provide legal services to the city of Floresville. The selected firm or attorney will be expected to provide general municipal legal counsel, including but not limited to drafting and reviewing ordinances, resolutions, municipal zoning, and contracts, advising on compliance and applicable laws, representing the city of Floresville in legal proceedings, and providing the legal services as requested. City manager.
Mayor and council, as we begin the budget process, we are reviewing contracts that have expired, are expiring, about to expire, or that are month to month right now. And so over the next couple of meetings, we'll be bringing these to you for guidance as well as how you would like to continue or go out for qualifications or professional services for these items. Right now, you do have legal services that is on a month-to-month contract. If you prefer to go out for qualifications, we're here to do that for you. You also have the option to directly negotiate with your current legal firm. Based on the time that you've been here, you can consider that as a qualification. If not, you can go out and qualifications, they can also submit qualifications for this. It is not part of a competitive bid process, but for transparency purposes, when you go out for qualifications on a professional service, you want to be able to show that you're getting the best service at the best rate possible. But the way it is right now, since she is, her firm is under on a month-to-month agreement with the council, you can't consider her experience to date as a qualification and begin negotiations to finalize the contract, or you can go out and solicit. So we're looking for your guidance. And this would only apply to the city. The 4B Corporation has legal services, and 4A is also has their own legal services. So this would only pertain to the city of Floresville. Questions?
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a comment if I may, before motion. Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Munoz. I do have a preference of month-to-month services for legal. I believe we were in a contractual service with another firm years ago, and that was not handled correctly as far as bookkeeping goes and invoicing and so forth, and I don't want us to fall into that same habit. So I would like for us to remain on a month-to-month, this is my opinion. And quite frankly, I have, the firm that we are using right now has had a very short time to be with us. She is representing us on all general issues with the city, but also litigation as well. So she does offer that extra expertise of having litigation as well as being general counsel. So I have no issues with our current firm.
Mayor, may I speak? So, our contract that we provided, as you know, we came in as interim city attorney after your previous city attorney resigned. And we followed the same rate structure that the previous city attorney had, which is aligned with our rate structure as well. But all of our engagements are set up this way so that, you may consider them month to month, but we view that as we provide services to you, and if you are unhappy with us, you give us 30 days notice, or if for some reason we feel it is not a good fit for us, then we would give you 30 days notice. And even then, we would still work with you. So I appreciate the city manager's perspective that it's month to month, but this is really meant to be an ongoing opportunity that if the city changes its mind, if the council changes its mind, it can give us 30 days notice, go out for proposals, do whatever it chooses to do. And so I would just disagree a little bit with that. I cannot think of an occasion in which we have ever gone into something that made you keep us for, say, a year or longer or something like that. That's just not how we see our relationship or how we do business, so.
Oh, I'm just gonna remind the council, the way we go with this, it does become increasingly difficult for us to be able to budget accordingly versus a contract where we have a base and additional fee structures. So that way we can then budget appropriately. We're gonna basically go with an average of what's been in the past. A lot of the stuff we're gonna have to tweak because there were things that we asked in the past that will already been taken care of, so that number may come down. But, if you choose to do this, that's fine. We'll just do an average for the budget, and then there may be a potential budget amendment mid-year. So it just makes it a little bit cleaner if we had an agreement in place with a fee structure.
I agree with you, Mr. Munoz. That is, I agree, since I've been in here, this is our second attorney, I get that, but I was under the assumption that it's kind of month to month, which means very temporary. So I'd like to see what is out there. I'd like to see if there's anything, kind of to your point, that we can use for our budget, something a little bit more stable. Again, I know that if we are leaving a contract or what have you, there's usually clauses put in place to do so. So, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for consideration and take possible action authorizing the issuance of a request for statements of qualifications from qualified law firms or attorneys to provide legal services to the city of Floresville.
All right. Do I, motion made by, Ms. Flores, do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Mr. Cantu, all in favor? All against? Motion passes 2-4, one against. Moving on to item, J. Consideration and take possible action authorizing the issuance of a request for statement of qualifications from qualified law firms or collection agencies to provide professional services for the collection of delinquent property taxes, including but not limited to foreclosure proceedings, installments, agreements, and related legal actions in accordance with applicable laws and regulations. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This one's a little bit different for us. Again, we have a potential expiring agreement with the county. The county does do our collection of our ad valorem taxes, We do have an expired agreement with them. Currently, they do use Lineberger to do their collections. We did have conversations with them. They are interested in continuing that relationship. Staff does not have issue with that relationship. It's just that for, again, for budgeting purposes, so that everything is transparent and open, that we be allowed to negotiate that agreement or extend that agreement and bring that to you for legal to review, as well as for us to continue that relationship with the county for our ad valorem tax collections. Or you have the option to bring it in-house. And that's why we present the option to you tonight to go out for qualifications if you do choose to bring it in-house. We do have representation here from the county if you'd like to ask any questions to them as well.
Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Mr. Munoz. Since you're saying that we have a relationship with the county and the county is the one that actually has it, is it cost effective for us versus having an attorney in-house?
It actually is very cost effective to us because they pay for a lot of the attorney's fees that are not applicable to us in the collection, so there is a cost savings to the city. So our recommendation is that we continue with them, but again, this is your option, and we're just looking to see what direction you want us to go for the future budgeting purposes of this. But staff would recommend that we enter a continuing agreement with the county for the collection of ad valorem taxes.
Mayor, if I may, I would actually like to hear from our tax assessor to talk about this contract that you said that is about to expire. Excuse me, is it expired or about to expire?
I believe we, go ahead.
Oh, it's about to expire, I think September, sorry. Hey, I'm Dawn Barnett, the tax assessor collector for the county, and of course I collect your property taxes as well. Yes, the contract that we just renewed in 2024 automatically renews annually. So if you are not wanting my office to collect your property taxes anymore, you'd have to notify me by June 1st. But we do have a great working relationship with y'all, and I see no reason to discontinue this.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions?
Mayor, I give you the floor.
No, I don't.
Okay.
So, what do you want? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move to take no action on this item.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that, Mayor.
All in favor?
Motion passes 3-4-0 against. Moving on to discussion and possible action authorizing insurance for qualification funds.
And so that would mean it would just continue, like, we're not.
Correct.
Yes, yes.
Discussion and possible action authorizing insurance for qualified firms to submit statements of qualifications for professional on-call services as required under the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 2254, professional and consulting services for yet not limited to service listed below. Go ahead.
Mayor, members of the council, we do not have an agreement in place for a firm to represent the city's interest in terms of engineering services. Right now, we do solicit all engineering firms by project. What we're proposing is to solicit a request for qualifications for engineering firms to conduct and basically be our engineering team as items come up, as subdivisions come up, questions regarding drainage, street improvements, things of that nature. We have a firm on call that we can directly deal with those individuals for this type of stuff. Items would be excluded in terms of the registered accessibility specialist, construction material testing, as typically those are third party. But this firm would be selected. They would work as part of our planning team to do plat reviews, subdivision reviews, any type of testing that we need or any small project. They would be on call to do that for us, and they would represent us as the official engineering firm for the city of Floresville. So staff recommends that we go out for qualifications.
Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
With this item, that the way it's listed, I'm gonna need more clarification, Mr. Munoz, because you mention one type of engineering, but you have several different kinds listed on here and projects to include, but not limited to, all these different projects. And so my preference would be to have it listed how you had the first two items that were specific to that firm or that specific project to go out for bid, knowing that that's what it's gonna be for. So if you're saying it's an engineering company, and it's gonna cover this, and this, as opposed to all of these different areas that are listed on here.
Sure. The difficulty with that is that we don't know what the need of the city's gonna be as developers come up, as items come up before the city in terms of projects. So we would have to do with what we're doing right now, take that course, and it would create time constraints for us, especially for planning and zoning. Since they are, once something's submitted, they are up against the wall in terms of a deadline for getting things approved. What we're asking for here is a firm to essentially act as an engineering department for the city to expedite a lot of these reviews and a lot of these projects. They themselves will not undertake the projects, but they would work with us in determining the scope of work, doing the bidding information for us and review, and working with developers and our planning team to make sure that our interests are preserved, especially as we're going with the new comprehensive plan. We are working on a citywide drainage plan. We're working on land plans, subdivision ordinance, and those things of that nature.
Yeah, I understand. I still would like to see those listed out, and then my next question would be, you know, what is that going to do with other plans that you have said that you wanted to bring forward to council?
I'm not following that.
That we can't really discuss right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can do that. It's gonna be an exhaustive list, but again, we would put the caveat in there that it is not exhaustive of all other items performed. And I don't wanna limit us in terms of saying, this firm can only do this, and this for the city.
Right, no, I also don't want you to get bids for firms that are a catch-all, if that's not what you're looking for either.
No, I understand.
Mr. Lewis? Are you looking to obtain, is the idea is to get one firm, and they would do all of these things, or is it, the idea is to get maybe two firms?
Typically under this, what you do is you do what they call a master agreement that allows them to serve on several functions for you for a municipality. And then as you need them, you use them as items present themselves. Other items for like construction material testing, you do a rotation list. You do different types of testings, asbestos or accessibility standards. You create a rotation list, you can do that as well. But typically for this, to serve as your engineering department, it would just be one firm that you would qualify to serve in your best interest for engineering purposes.
Okay, got it.
I really like this idea, Mr.
I want to make a statement as well. This is prior to him being hired here, so, permits, development, they have been, I wouldn't say interviewing, but they have met with several engineers, since they are having issues with getting plats reviewed. Who can they go to? So, I mean, he's not here,
So
this
this
is
is
not here, but.
something to streamline
they were
services.
pushing, right.
Got it.
And we're not consistent with the review. I mean, every engineering firm is gonna give you their perspective, and based off their interpretation of what we have in terms of ordinances and policies. And so that's why we have a lot of the variances that we do. And I don't mean like an actual approved variance, but the difference is of how our infrastructure is being built right now. We don't have that one voice that we can go to that's gonna be consistent to serve as the best interest for the city.
Got it.
So we're looking to consolidate on that.
Okay.
Or if you like, we can hire an engineer, but we don't have the money to do that.
Do I have a motion for this?
Mayor, I'll make a motion authorizing issuance for qualified firms to submit statements of qualifications for professional on-call services as required under the Texas Local Government Code of Chapter 2254, Professional and Consulting Services.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Motion made by Ms. Flores, second by Mr. Cantu. All in favor? All against? Motion passes 2-4, 0 against. I mean, 1 against. Moving on to item consideration and take possible action to authorize the insurance of a request for proposal to assess, repair, upgrade, and construct the city hall parking lot and adjacent drainage retaining wall drainage system. City manager.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. We did consult with an engineering firm in the past to do the repair of the, kind of the breakdown of the asphalt in the back of the parking lot, as well as the drainage of the parking lot moving towards that little ditch creek area. It was our opinion that the price exceeded over $50,000, which means we have to go out for proposals on this. Also, it was our opinion that it was over-designed because they wanted to do hydrology and hydraulic studies on this, and it's only one block. We thought that was excessive. We also wanted to look at, rather than just doing the parking lot itself, in terms of overall drainage, we want to be able to put inlets to a drainage retention wall. So that way, if the water, because it goes from the street back towards, so you have some ponding over here on the southeast corner, but you don't really have inlets. You have the concrete barricades that are there, and water flows through there. So we don't have sufficient access or inlets, and that's what's really causing the deterioration. It's not that it's flowing east or west, it's that the flow is coming, it's sheet flowing from the curb to the back, and it's collecting in one area, which is causing the failure and eventual erosion. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to look at the pinpoints, the elevation of the parking lot to get actual correct flow of water, create the inlet, and create a retention wall. So that way we would no longer have to deal with erosion of that area in terms of the scope of work. But again, that hole in the back parking lot's getting bigger, and it's becoming much more of an obstacle to get around. And so we'd like to go ahead and address that. Again, we did consult with an engineer before. His cost estimate was just under $60,000, which requires to get proposals anyway, which is why we're here tonight.
Thank you.
Is that just for that immediate area?
No, that would be for the entire parking lot, for us to work on and redo the drainage flow of that.
Because we have an erosion problem that goes down the tree and reach out.
Right, we'll look at it. Yeah, we'll definitely include that as part of the scope of work.
Thank you. Do I have a motion, or do I have any discussion on this? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I do have maybe a comment question. Mr. Munoz, you said the threshold is 50, but I believe statute moved it up to 100,000 as the threshold. So if, I don't know, if legal can make a recommendation on whether or not we can adopt that to say that we want to, give that.
I believe I misspoke, I believe our threshold was 25,000 based off of the charter.
That's correct.
Okay.
I misspoke, thank you for
Okay,
correcting.
I was thinking about the statute from the last update.
Do I have a motion for this?
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the issuance of request for proposals to assess, repair, upgrade, reconstruct city hall parking lot, and basic drainage, retaining wall and drainage system.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilman Cantu, second by Ms. Jimenez, all in favor? Motion passes 8-4. Item M, consideration and take possible action to approve funding in an amount not to exceed $30,000 for the city's general fund and for motel tax fund for the 4A Economic Development Corporation for expenses related to the city's 4th of July celebration, including but not limited to entertainment, marketing, and event operations. City manager.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. We're requesting to participate with the 4A Corporation's 4th of July celebration. We would like to use a combination of the city's general fund and the hotel occupancy tax to be able to pay for this. We'd like to do a much bigger function for this 4th of July than what we've done in the past. We've already begun coordinating with outside agencies to help with this. We're also looking for additional sponsorships from the community and local businesses. We think it's a great idea. We want to be supportive of the 4A Corporation and their efforts. And I know they also have another request going before FEDC. I think this is a great event. I think it's something that we can come together as a community to do. And I think it's just a small part of what we can do to help this effort.
Thank you.
Staff recommends approval. Questions?
Mayor, I have a question, and a comment, actually. Have you, thank you for including, the sponsorship information. I think it's important that we can get as much sponsorship as we can from community members, even people outside of the community that may come to Floresville for our event. I would like you to consider having a conversation with the mayor of Gonzales. He has told me about their celebrations that they had for the holiday and last 4th of July. They used drones, and that significantly reduced the cost of expenses versus fireworks. They used drones instead of using fireworks. So maybe a conversation about that, that could be some cost savings and also be something actually kind of neat, something new for our city.
Thank you. Moving on, do I have any more questions or comments?
And I can send you his information.
Please, I believe we're pending a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion for consideration and take action to approve funding in an amount not to exceed $30,000 from the city's general fund and/or hotel motel tax fund for the 4A Economic Development Corp. For expenses related to the city's 4th of July celebration.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilperson Flores, second by Councilperson Jimenez, all in favor? Motion passes 3-4-0 against.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and this consideration and take action on the purchase by the city of Floresville of .021 acre tract of land from Olin Mosmeyer in accordance with the purchase and sale agreement between the parties, ratifying the execution of the special warranty deed and other documents by Mayor Gloria Cantu needed to complete purchase.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This matter was discussed with you in executive session, and there was a motion that was made in open session following it. But it was a very general motion because it related to real estate. The city needed to acquire a very small percentage of land, .021 acre tract of land, in order to construct its lift station. And so, with the instruction and direction from council, with city management, we were able to negotiate a purchase and sale of that agreement, the agreement for that, for the city to acquire it for $2,500. And that has been documented, and Mayor has signed the documents, but in order for the title policy to be issued for the benefit of the city, we need a more formal minutes item in the minutes for the title company to issue that policy. So that's why this is before you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to pass this?
Yes, we have to make a motion to take action on the purchase of the city of Floresville, .021 acre tract of land from Elton, both on the tender, in accordance with purchase and sale agreement between the parties and ratifying the execution of the special warranty deed, no documents from Mayor Gloria Cantu needed to complete the purchase.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilperson Cantu, second by Councilperson Flores, all in favor? Motion passes 3-4-0 against. With that said, motion adjourned at 8:07. Thank you, everyone.